Hello, World of Tank Blitzers, and hopefully a few future mumrads. I'm Littlefinger. I'm back up and running after my Mac hard drive crashed. Took me a few days to get that replaced, but I am up and running. And today I am doing a review, full tank review on the Pz4 D, which is a German medium tier 4 tank. You can see it here in the garage. Let's pull up the tech tree. Show you where this tank takes you. Alright, so you will see Pz4D is close to the top there, just above the DW2. This is going to take you down a really nice line and also gives you the opportunity to split off. So up next comes the Pz4. From there you can continue down the VK36 to the Tiger 1 and Tiger 2. And I will preface that by saying probably the Tiger 1, Tiger 2 are the two weakest tanks in this line. E75 is a beast. You will love this tank. It's probably one of the most OP tanks at tier 9, as is the E100. Great tank also. So you might struggle a little bit through the Tiger 1 and 2, but it's worth it once you get to the E75, E100. The VK30P, Tiger P. I love the Tiger P. I've played it on another account, but I'm struggling with the VK45, so I am headed up to the mouse on that line. But by far I would recommend the Tiger E75 E100 line as a must-own tank line. So let's take a look at the gun on this tank. You'll see here it starts out with a 5cm L42, penetration value there at about 60 for your AP. Run a couple games with this and build up some credit so that you can then use them, hopefully, and your free experience to jump over this 7.5 L24. 43 penetration on the AP is horrible. You'll have to obviously get an upgraded turret to run the 7.5cm L43, which has wonderful penetration values here. 103, 139 for APCR, and 38 for HE. Keep in mind that most tanks at tier 3 do not have 38mm of armor, so you can switch over to HE just about any tier 3 tank. Set up on this consumables, this is standard for me: repair kit, multi-purpose, and adrenaline. Provisions, I'm running all three: standard fuel, chocolate bar, and protective kit. Ammunition, I've got a lot of AP, only a few rounds here of APCR, and a little bit less on the HE. You could probably bump that up, maybe have even amounts here with your APCR and HE. Equipment on this, again, this is a tier 4. I would not waste any spare parts on this tank, but you can see here I am running the gun rammer to increase my rate of fire. Penetration on this tank is wonderful, so you do not need any additional help there. Protected modules is what I typically run just because of my setup using the two kits, which protects my crew. So I typically run the protected modules here. And since this is a medium tank, you're going to be on the front lines. Not much use for a camouflage net. You want to go with the improved optics for sure. If you do decide to spend spare parts, again, would not recommend it because you do not get them back if you sell the tank. You've got enhanced gun laying or supercharged. Again, I'm going to go with anything that's going to improve the gun handling, just because penetration values on this tank are really good. Enhanced armor versus approved assembly, you know, it's kind of a toss-up in my opinion. I would probably go with enhanced armor. Improved control gives us 8 additional horsepower and 4.7 on the Traverse to 56, whereas engine accelerator gives us 30 on the horsepower and 1.8 on the Traverse. You know, this is how you feel about driving this tank. It's pretty mobile for a medium, in my opinion. It'll get around quite well, so that traverse speed might help out more than the additional horsepower, which is only going to basically help you accelerate and get up hills faster. And then vertical stabilizer versus refined gun. I'm going to go with a vertical stabilizer on this one. And enhanced tracks or toolbox. This is a toss-up for me too. Consumable delivery system or high-end consumables. So I would go with consumable delivery system. So anyway, let's take a look at how this tank compares to other tanks at Tier 4. Alright, so here we are on the website blitzstars.com using their tank compare app. And I've got the Pz4 here on the left and Pz3, Chi, Matilda, and T28 lined up next to it. You can see here with a DPM of 1100, it's right in the middle of the pack, so to speak. Only the Matilda's slower. But when you take into consideration the penetration values on this at 103 and you compare it to the Pz3 or the Chi, you're going to bounce shots in those tanks, most definitely, especially when you're up against some Tier 5s. KV1 has 100 millimeters of armor, so you're going to bounce shots with those tanks, whereas with the Pz4 D, chances are you're going to be able to penetrate and get most of that 160 alpha damage. Of course, you might have to shoot a few APCR rounds, and of course that number then does go down. So we have a rate of fire of 6.9 per minute. It's obviously a 75 caliber gun. Shell velocity is a little slow, although I never really noticed that in game to be an issue. Your aim time is right in line with the other tanks, and your dispersion is a little bit worse, so you're going to have to hold on to that aim time and make sure that you don't rush any shots. Obviously, one of the nice things with this tank, it does have 10 degrees of gun depression, so you can play this fairly well on hills. Not like the Chi there with the 15 degrees, but getting hull down is certainly a strength of this tank. Looking at the movement and mobility here, speed at 42 kilometers per hour. It's not the fastest out there, but I didn't notice any real sluggishness with it. It is also slowed down a little bit by that terrain resistance of 1.1, which is going to give us an effective horsepower per ton of 20. You look at the Chi and Matilda there, they are way underpowered in comparison. So climbing hills, accelerating are going to be seen as a little sluggish in those tanks for sure. And so this tank doesn't quite have the mobility of the Pz3 or T28. But again, I felt like I could get around just fine in this tank. And when we move down here into the credit coefficients, it's 79%. That's horrible compared to these other ones. And why is that? Well, look at the win rate on these tanks. 61% for the Pz4. It is so much higher than these other tanks. So, of course, you're not going to have as high a credit coefficient because you're going to be winning more games. You're going to be getting credits for winning games in this tank. So, as I said, with the line going up to the E75 and E100, this is a must-play line in my opinion. So let's take a look at some gameplay. Okay, so first game, bottom tier, Middleburg. You know the drill. Fight is on the hill. The team that clears the hill typically wins on Middleburg. Just FYI. So this is a team that's opponent that's not very good. But what I'm doing here is I am moving up to the first mound kind of in the middle of the hill here, and I am hull down. I can back away and not be shot. So I take my shot, and if you notice there, I am aiming for tracks, which you can do very well in this tank. That's going to get you extra EXP if your team is able to do some damage while you've got that module damage. So So their guy just YOLO'd into our team, which we will obviously take. Back of the Leo there puts him on fire, and the Anko finishes him off again, aiming for that front drive wheel, and the Lux is taken care of. So you know, these guys are just walking straight into us. Take a shot here, but just miss. No point moving forward because I don't know who's still. I've got one behind me, and we've got two others there. So there's one missing. Not sure where that shot goes. Can't explain that. But anyway, the M4 does some serious damage to us, puts us on fire, and for some reason the shot didn't go off when I pushed the button, so I had to repair the fire and then shoot. But we finish off the kill there. So now we know that T28's down here. He's AFK. But I just wanted you to notice how I play this. In case he wasn't AFK, I've stopped right beside this hill here. So if he comes to life and wants to shoot, obviously there's other tanks in front he can aim at, but I'm covered for the most part. So, and I'm angled as well. So keep that in mind. Angling, cover, all very important things to start learning here at tier 4 and above. So now it's just a matter of finding the guy that probably went all the way around, and amazingly enough his entire team died while he was trying to flank in a heavy. So we've got a tier 5 BDR French heavy here. And look at this. There's very little red on this with just a standard AP round. So I think that just goes to show you how good this gun is. We get second shot into him, and the team finishes him off. So we end up with just one kill there, but we do 1600 damage in this tank. It's good for a level 1 mastery. Obviously that was aided by shooting tracks and so forth, but you can see in a game like this, 1600 damage, it was easy. You know, I didn't have to have a horrible team. I had a strong team and I was still able to do 1600 in it. So I think that just goes to talk about how good this gun is. Alright, so next game here, bottom tier again, Winter Malinovka. And I've looked at the other team's composition there. They've got a lot of heavies. I'm not expecting them to go to the lake. So I'm taking a very aggressive move through the middle here. If you do this, make sure you have an exit strategy. 1 or 2 or 3 tanks pop up, you need to take cover immediately. But you can see how far in front I am of the rest of the tank. This poor Matilda, he's barely even gotten started, and I've already flanked around him. So we'll take our shot, back up, reload, and we'll shoot him in the tracks. Team does some damage, so I'm getting some extra EXP here, and then we get the kill. So just like I suspected, the other team has gone all the way around. Get a nice shot into the back of the Anko there. And I'm just being patient, waiting for the reload. And you can see the whole team now is pretty much by the base. Look how even though I got shot there, look how I'm hiding behind this rock. Not angled greatest, right on the side there, but obviously the B1's not going to do a lot of damage per shot. So we can back up while we reload, and right now just being patient, waiting for the other team to spot. So I think that M8 got killed before I shot there, but so they're down to 3 tanks left, and we've completely caught them by surprise. You look at that, KV1 from the front with AP is penetrable. Now he's making a bull rush at me here, so we're just going to back behind the building. He's turned, distracted. We'll get a shot in and back up. And you'll notice here a little bit that we want to make sure that we're keeping these angles close to 90 degrees. Get him in the tracks, don't do any damage. Waiting on the reload here. And make sure we get right in the back, softest spot on the KV1 right there. I've got 2 guys on him, so I'm figuring he's going to die before I'm reloaded, so I'm just going to move on to the next target. Pz4 left, and unfortunately I think I'm just a little bit late getting in here with a shot on him for the kill. Had my shot right there, just didn't take it in time. But we ended up with 2 kills, 1524 damage. That was good for a level 2 mastery as bottom tier. So you can have some big games in this tank for sure. Don't look at their side because obviously they weren't very good. But anyway, we'll look at some more. So you've seen what we can do here as bottom tier. How about top tier? Always fun to be top tier. We are on Mayan ruins, and you'll see here from this game how well our 10 degrees of gun depression comes into play here. So we're going to push around the corner, and sometimes what I like to do is just push up over this hill and see if we get any spots. Sure enough, we do. We'll get a shot in and quickly back down and around this rock to safety. So, patience. Part of this game is about being patient, not getting yourself into horrible situations where you've got multiple guns on you at one time. So I could have stayed up here on the hill and just duked it out, traded shots, and probably died pretty early, but you can see here I'm just waiting for them to start making mistakes. They're eager to get those kills down there. We got some guys lower health, and I'm more than happy just to sit right here. Unfortunately missed that shot. 3 targets going every which way. Got a little distracted there, so you know, we're just taking our time, being patient. I hate when I take a shot right after another guy has been killed, but anyway, so the Hetzer's here. We'll get a good shot into the back of him, and we're 4 on 4 right now, so they've got 2 guys up here. This is a pretty lucky shot, and so I'm gonna go around this hill to safety and go ahead and get this Hetzer. And so he starts to back up. I don't want him backing up. I want him going forward if at all possible to keep our T82 safe, so we're able to finish him off. We take a couple shots there from those guys, the B1, but you can see we can back up to safety, shoot him in the track, although no help from the team. But they might have to use a repair kit, and you know, we might set him on fire next shot and get some extra points out of it. So whenever you can damage modules, you don't want to do that. See, we track him again, and he's got no repair kit, so he's just stuck there. T82 YOLOs into him and kills himself, and it's just me and the B1. We're about same hit points, but I've got the damage per shot on him for sure, and I'm going to use my mobility and make sure that he can't just line up a shot and trade shots. So 3 kills, probably didn't need the APCR there, but just wanted to make sure that those last couple shots were going in and not bouncing, because I was in a situation where I was trading shots. So 1791, another level 1. Just really loving this tank. It's great. So this game we are top tier on Fort Despair. I'm going to go to a spot that I don't normally go to just because it's so popular with everybody. But I'm gonna put a little different flavor on this and get myself right up by this rock. So if anyone comes around here, I can quickly back around the rock. And we're gonna be patient here, as patient as I can anyway. And again, a lot of this game is waiting for the other people to make mistakes. Not getting yourself in a situation where you've got more guns on you than you do on them. So that's kind of part of the reason why it's so frustrating when you call a direction and you see teammates going off on their own way. So we missed that shot and get tracked, so we're going to repair that. We're kind of out in the open here, and of course, as we do decide to move forward, they all start showing up. So we get one shot in on the Valentine there. But they've got 3 tanks over there, 2 over here, so I'm going to just try to get into a better situation here where I'm on the outside. I don't have tanks on both sides of me, so I'm kind of just trading shots right now with the Chihi, but we'll go ahead here and just finish him off. And it's not looking good on this side. I'm not sure why this Pz4 decides to run for it, but we get one shot into him there, and we're just gonna back down so that no one can shoot us from that corner. And we'll miss that shot, unfortunately. So it's looking like now with that guy gone, we've got numbers in the corner. So I'm gonna go back to this Pz4. I was expecting him just to flank all the way around, but he goes to the typical camping spot, and lo and behold, there is an ice claw over here as well. So I'll go ahead and get shots into him. He actually has probably a much higher damage on his shot, so more worried about him. Prefer to get bigger guns out whenever possible. This Pz4, I know I can trade shots with him, and so I've got him down to a 1 shot. He can shoot me here if he wants, but I'm just going to go ahead and finish him off as I drive on by. And you can see the mobility here at 35 kilometers per hour very easily. 37. You know, it really does not feel as sluggish as those stats kind of make it seem like it might. So you can see here up against the Locust, very fast tier 3 tank. He's very fortunate here that he tracks me. I repair it as fast as I can, but I don't have time to aim as we get around here, and so off he goes. Only to die just a few seconds later. So 3 kills, just over 1600 damage. Again, another level 1 mastery badge. This tank will do some damage. I'm telling you guys, this is a great tank. Alright guys, last game I'm going to show you, and I just wanted to mix it up a little bit. This is Canal, bottom tier. Mostly all mediums, and I think our best shot is to go left. So I call for the team to go left. You can see all of the mediums there. They push off quickly, and it appears that we've got a guy go straight to base and 2 others going right. So you know what? Sometimes it's fun just to camp at the back of a map and just see what happens. So not typically a tank that you would see camping, or should be camping for that matter. But I'm just going to back it up top of this hill here, and I'm just going to sit and kind of enjoy the game for a little bit. So we've climbed the hill, we're backed out. One of the things I will preface this by saying that as soon as your light bulb goes off, it is time to move. So T1 coming up the hill, going to switch over to APCR. We're 400 meters away and we're still penetrating him with APCR, so we're good there. He's moving forward. We'll get another shot into him, and he goes back down into the valley there. Matilda's all alone. He looks like he's going to be in trouble next. KV1 pushing up on him, so it's definitely switching over to APCR because, you know, we're 250, 60 meters away. So accuracy on this gun. We get 1 shot in there. He's on the move as well. Another shot in there. So like I was saying, I don't see the problem with the shell velocity here. 3 shots into him before he's even spotted us. Light bulb goes off. Abort. Get out of dodge. Do not sit there any longer and get yourself to cover. So I'm going to regroup with my team over here on the left side of the map. KV1's not going to chase us down, so for all intents and purposes, he is out of the game for now, which allows our team to push in on their players on the opposite side of the map. So I was hoping I could come up here and do some more camping. This is just one of these games. I just didn't want to feel like playing the front line. So they're all on the kind of in the middle of the map. So I'm not going to get any shots in. That KV1's coming around. The game is actually tied right here. So it's still a pretty close game. But as soon as I say that, we take out 2 tanks, and you can see there, switch back over to the APCR on the T1, and he just runs right into the middle of our group of tanks. 2 guys left, both on the other side of the bridge. I'm full health. No one's even shot at me yet, so we can take some chances. KV1 probably could have stopped and taken a shot there. But we'll go ahead and take out his engine. He repairs that pretty quickly. And DW puts us on fire. You do catch on fire a good bit in this tank. But I'm able to control that with my large repair kit. And we finish off the DW and the KV1. So we went from camping to then getting into the middle of the fight because we had saved all of our hit points. So, you know, as long as you're doing damage, I don't have a problem with sitting in a spot far off the map. But if you're not being productive, it's time to get into the battle. So guys, that wraps up my review of the Pz4 D. And I think you can tell from all of my comments about it that this is a tank that I would highly recommend. So hope that you learned something from this video. As always, guys, get educated, not fingered. Littlefinger out.